This, my friends, is, yeah. This is pretty rural. This is what passes for a road in the backcountry. And this might be problematic because you can see there's all kinds of obstacles in the road. You can't get a vehicle through here. I mean, short work with a chainsaw, though. I didn't see any big obstacles in the way of this so-called road, but it's pretty rustic. One thing I do like is there is no neighbors. There is nothing around here, friends. Nothing. And I did see a lot of no trespassing signs that are all the same on both sides on this land. So if I were to guess, I would say that there's one guy, one person who owns most of this land. It's completely undeveloped land and completely it's pretty rustic, pretty rural. But you know, actually, I'm enjoying this. I'm worried about my car though, because I pretty much had to park it near the end of the road there, and I hope, you know, that's not a problem. I knocked on the door of that house. There was nobody home. They are blocking the road. I parked on the side of the end of the road, so I got another half-mile hike to see this land, friends. Great. So let me get to the actual land, and then I'll come back to you guys. I should focus on my feet here. There's a lot of rocks and trees and debris. It's going to be fun. If I were to purchase a property here, you know, it would be my responsibility, I suppose, to maintain this I don't know, mile-long road into the actual land. And that's not a good thing, but it also is a good thing, because if you think about it, like, there's no neighbors. There's nothing but woods for miles, friends. Love it. I love that part of it. A little rustic, a little scary, like getting in and out of here. So let me find the actual land, and I'll come back to you guys. Well, my friends, we have reached the crossroads. This land is right at a crossroads. Yes, believe it or not, that's what they call another road. That's not the road that the land is on. This is the road that the land is on, if you can call that a road. And you could see there is all kinds of trees in the way of the road. And as far as I understand, this is like a gray area. Is it the township's responsibility to maintain this road and keep it clear and accessible? Probably not. They're not going to do that. They're not going to come back here miles into the woods on a dirt road and clear it. So that would be, you know, one issue is I would have to always be keeping the road clear somehow in order to make it. And it would appear that this here is the actual land. So while it's only an acre of actual land that I would be purchasing, we're way back in the woods here, friends, and there is no neighbors anywhere. Yeah, I kind of like it. The road does continue up the hill. I'm going to take a walk up there just to see if there's any homes or cabins or trailers or anything off in the distance. But do you hear that? Absolute silence. And it looks like there is a campsite or something back here. Oh no, maybe not. Just woods. So I'm gonna walk the woods here. This is about as rural as I could ask for. I mean, look at this. There's just nothing but woods. And as far as trees, remember, I'll be building a log cabin here. And it appears that there is plenty of standing dead trees, which is my preference. If you're gonna cut a tree down, that it already be dead, harvest it and put it to good use, either for firewood or for building materials. there is already a ton of downed trees here. Incredible sort of surroundings. And here's something that's great. There's rocks everywhere. And one of the things that's on my list is to check this property for natural resources. The building materials we'll be using here are all trees and stones, and there appears to be, just like my property a few miles from here where the original cabin I built is, there is stones galore. So if you were willing to work and you wanted to build a fireplace, a stone hearth for a wood stove, a stone floor, a stone foundation, there is stone everywhere on this property. Which of course that could be a bad side too. That could be a bad thing if you're looking for garden space. But and I see somebody has a post-it no trespassing sign over there, so I'm assuming maybe that's where the property line is. Of course, nothing is staked. I have to talk to the realtor or get a GPS app out to find the actual corners of the property. This is actually 3 lots of land for some reason. They section them off into lots here. When you consider the fact that there's no one here, this is totally woods, right? I really like this. And there does appear to be at least a few clearings. There's a clearing over here. No trees. So if I were to build a cabin, it wouldn't be too difficult to find a build site here. Really interesting. I'm glad that I honestly, I was gonna bail. I was gonna call the realtor and tell him, look, I can't even get through the road. But I decided to hike through. And here's another thing, friends. Most people won't do that. And that's also, that road problem is a huge detriment. So I might be able to negotiate and say, look, the road is a huge problem. Like, what are we going to do here? We cannot, even get through here with a vehicle. So that's a huge amount of work just to be able to get through to the actual land. Land itself looks pretty good here. I'm seeing stones everywhere. Everywhere I look, there's stones. So like I said, fireplace, stone foundation. Hell, to be honest with you, it looks like there's enough stone here to build a cabin, the whole cabin out of stone. There is just a massive amount of stones here. And many of them look flat, and show you an example. See here, we have you want flat stones for building a floor, but lots and lots of flat stone. It's everywhere on this property. And from what I see, you could build a stone cabin here. Absolutely. I wouldn't even have to cut down trees. I could absolutely build a stone cabin here with the number of stones that I'm seeing. And I mean, probably like 15 by 30 or even 15 by 50 cabin. Yeah, who knows? I mean, I've never built a whole cabin out of stone, but I'd like to try that. Little stone cottage here in the woods instead of a log cabin maybe might be a better thing. Yeah. So I am going to hike back to my car, friends, because I'm worried about my car, which I just left at somebody's house because there was no way to get past the truck they have blocking this road. Yeah. So friends, yeah, we're gonna call it a day here. Look, what a beautiful place though. I mean, hear that lovely birds in the background? There's no noise. You can't hear like road noise even. All the way back here, we're about 2 miles off of the pavement, or the paved road. The main road is, I'm not going to mention the name of the road, but it's a well-known road around here in the Pocono Mountains. It's a paved 2-lane sort of highway. I think the speed limit's 55, 45 maybe. But we're a good mile from there. And yeah, just amazing. This seems to be quite the parcel of rural land. I mean, this is exactly what I wanted when I first built my other cabin, but I just couldn't find anything anywhere near this remote that would work for us. So we ended up with you know, sort of a community situation, but this I like much better. I mean, talk about being alone in the wilderness. There is nothing here. You can see there's a no trespassing sign. I'm assuming that may be one of the property lines. And actually, I'm going to go take a walk up this hill and see if there's anything up there like cabins, or I don't hear anything, and I doubt there's anything up there because nobody's been through this road. You can tell by all the debris in the road. Nobody's been through this road for quite some time. Years maybe. And I like that too. This is like a hidden hideaway, friends. I love it. So I got to talk to, you know, the boss, my wife, and I'll show her these videos and see what she thinks. Beautiful though, and there's a nice selection of different trees. I saw some beech trees, birch trees, cherry trees. There's some pine in there, but most of these are, you know, like I saw maple. I did see some maple trees, so if I want to get crazy off-grid here and learn to make my own maple syrup, that's a possibility with the number of maple that I saw up here. Amazing, amazing place. I could imagine like this would be a really nice just campsite. You know, forget about building anything here. Just make it a campsite, and private campsite that you could return to every year. Rest, rejuvenate, recharge, soak up that beautiful nature, and quite the canopy of trees. So it's pretty shady here. It's about 80 or 85 even out today, but it's super cool here. Probably because the tree canopy up there is really shading this area. Yeah, so that's me, friends, looking at rural land. Doesn't get more rural than this. You can't even drive back here. You gotta I had a hike about a mile. So I'm gonna go do the hike back, friends, and I just wanted to share this though, for those that have asked me about buying land and building cabins, and you know, it's one of the huge interests of mine. I think this is absolutely beautiful. Really the best place that I have seen. I didn't make videos of the other places because honestly they were just not good. They weren't good places at all. Neighbors too close. One had a very noisy neighbor with 3 dogs barking the whole time I was looking at the land. Didn't like that. No. This, my friends, I prefer. It's just totally what I want. Like off by itself, no neighbors, nothing but woods around. Absolutely beautiful. All right, friends, I'm gonna go take another little hike before I hike all the way back to my car. Like I said, I'm worried about my car because I don't know. Those people might come home and just see a car like off the side of the road and wonder who the hell it is, or call the cops or so. I don't know how people react to that here. People like their privacy here. I can tell you that. Beautiful place. I like it. Let me know what you guys think. Is this a good place to retreat from the world? It's miles from any neighbors. It's miles from even a paved road. Very, very remote. I think this would be the perfect place to build someplace off-grid. I suppose one of my only concerns would be that there is no sun here, so solar would not work well at all. You need a gas power generator for a while until that got figured out. I mean, it looks sunny in the video, but it's pretty dim here actually, friends. Not good for solar power, but otherwise, look at this. There's nothing here but woods for miles. I love it. Nobody's going to develop the rest of this land for quite some time, so you kind of get a bonus. And what they call a road, I would call that a hiking trail. You could, you know, hike up and down that hiking trail every day, or up here through wherever the hell it goes. But I looked on satellite maps and it doesn't appear that there's any homes up there, back here, through there, down this other road that we found. There is just nothing for miles, friends. So there is just nothing for miles. And quite honestly, if you want a little retreat in the woods, this is what you want. No neighbors, nothing around. Love it. So the land is about a few 3-4 city blocks up there, where we just came from. And yeah, I'm just walking back to the vehicle where the road ended because of a truck in the road. And you know, I was thinking about it. I don't know what you would do if you purchased this property. Like, I would try to talk to those neighbors and explain that I needed them to move that truck so I could get through here. Hopefully they're nice people and they understand. But it looked like that truck was, you know, a foot sunk down in the mud and might not move. So then what am I going to do then? I got to talk to them. Like, can I clear a path around your truck so my vehicle can get through until you have time to clear the road, you know? And that makes me a little nervous, because that situation could be easily resolved with a nice, decent person that just says, oh yeah, you bought land up the dirt road. I'm sorry, nobody's used that road for years. We'll move the truck. Not a problem. I'd even help them move the truck. But that situation could go another way, which is, you know, a sort of bitter, angry person who doesn't want to have somebody using this road, who's been using the road as, it looks like they're using the road as part of their yard, you know, which I guess I don't blame them. If nobody's coming up through here and they're the last house on this dirt road, hey, good for them. But yeah, it's that could be a problem. And look at this, friends. This is absolutely beautiful, right? Absolutely beautiful. There's nothing here, nothing but woods for miles. I like that. You know, this is the perfect place to escape to. What a hideaway this is. It is a hideaway. A hideaway in the woods, right? Absolutely beautiful. And here we see there's a lot more pine trees and things along the path. A little more diversity here than the land plot that we looked at. And I'm looking at this road and I don't see any major, you know, like there's not a 3 or 4 foot log laying in the middle of the road. It's all small stuff you can just push to the side or cut up with a chainsaw. And hey, look, if I'm gonna clear this road of all these logs in the way, that's firewood. That's on a public road. Nobody will mind. Or building materials or whatever, and that expands the resources that the purchase of the property here comes with. So some people would see this as a, you know, a negative. Like, look at all these little logs in the road. No, not me. That looks like a roof beam to me right there, right? Absolutely. This is my favorite of all. I've looked, my friends, I have looked at 10 different properties here, and none of them seemed to fit the bill until we got here. And also, I think it's important, if you are selecting land to purchase, you know, I sat on a big boulder on the land that's for sale, and I just looked around, and I got a really good feeling there. Like I could see myself spending time there and building and developing that property. So I think that is something you should do. You should spend a little time there and see, like, is this something, is this a place I could see myself spending a lot of time at and enjoying the time that I spend there? And my answer to that place was absolutely. Yeah, this, my friends, this is the Pocono Mountains that I love. Look at this. This is just boulders and rocks, and there's some trails through here, but again, I think the stuff on both sides of this so-called road is private property. I wouldn't trespass. People around here don't take kindly to that because there's a lot of hunter poachers. You know, I'm sure if you got to know whoever the owner is or some of the neighbors and say, hey, you know, I'm not hunting, I'm just hiking. Is it okay if I hike through your trails? They're okay with that, but it's a real cardinal sin to go on somebody else's land and to harvest a deer or wild turkeys or anything, really, you know, or wood. People do that. They, you know, go into the woods with a pickup truck and chop down trees on somebody else's land. That's another cardinal sin here. You don't do that. But, gee, what a beautiful place, man. I wouldn't even care if I could get my car just past that road. I would hike in here for a while until I figured it out, you know? I'll hike in here. And I'm going to have to spend a lot of time, probably a couple of weekends, just clearing the road out and trying to make sure that I can get my car back here. You know, when I looked for new vehicles, I tried like hell to get a car with four-wheel drive, but we just couldn't find one that was anywhere near affordable. So I ended up with a car with traction control. Now, that'll work in the spring, summer, and fall, but there's no way on God's green earth that I would be able to get through here in the wintertime, because the snowpack could be 2 or 3 feet, unless I had a truck with a plow and I plowed this whole thing. But it's that's like a mile, you know. I don't think you're plowing through this. Interesting. Nothing but woods, and this is so serene, friends. It is really this. I was expecting, honestly, I looked at the satellite maps and I didn't realize that this road was so remote, and I thought it was a paved road around patches of woods, but it turns out there is no paved anything. This is a very rural road. I don't know what they call road, and you can see off in the distance there, we're approaching where I came in at. There's the truck that's blocking the whole road. It looks like I should be able, they got of course they have piles of wood on both sides, piles of firewood on both sides of the truck, but like I said, I guess I would just talk to them and say, hey, you know, I bought land up this dirt road and I can't get through. Can I help you to clear the, you know, make sure that I have access through here? And this is going to be a problem. This is really overgrown, so I'd have to weed whack down this whole section here. I mean, I don't have to. Maybe just driving over it, but I don't think that's a good for the undercarriage of your car. This is a lot of brush. so I probably would weed whack this, which means gotta get a gas weed whacker. All I have is a electric one, and obviously you're not doing anything. You're not doing that with electric here. So wow, there's the road to serenity, friends. That's what I think. Yeah, really overgrown here. There's another road that goes up this way. I don't know what that is, but that they call these a road, but really I would call that a hiking trail. That's what I would say. I don't know what that is. Tree stump? Yeah, tree stump. Debris. So my car's right back in front of this guy's truck where the road ends. I'm gonna go back to the cabin, and hopefully, you know, this may be the start of a great adventure. So I'm glad that I made some video here, and I'll turn around here and give you one last view into. Look at that! There is nothing. You can't even tell that's a road, right? You cannot even tell that's a road. Yeah, maybe the best thing to do would be to leave that debris in the way and like cut around it. So you pull around it this way. That kind of blocks people from coming up the road. I mean, there would be nobody up there but me and my property if I purchase it. So that might be a good like sort of barrier to keep nosy people away and keep it more private. So this is a lot to think about, friends, and one of the major things to think about is, what do we do about this? That's a problem. And like I said, they pretty much claimed this road as their yard, which, like I said, I don't blame them. There's nobody been up that road for years, and hopefully they don't, hopefully they're nice people and they just understand. I mean, I got to be able to get through there, but you can see it's going to be pretty tight to get a vehicle around there. Anyway, I'm going back to the cabin, friends. I'm exhausted. It's a 2-mile hike that I wasn't planning on. And this is what passes as a road. All the way up there, more than a mile, no neighbors, nothing but woods. And if I pan around here, back the other way, 1.5 miles, nothing but woods. No neighbors, nothing. This side is all woods for, I think, something like 4 or 5 miles. No trails really through there. I've been through checking. It's all just woods. And here on this side is where the land is. See that big tree right in the middle of the frame? That would be about the property line, I've estimated. I've got to come in here with a better GPS app. And this is the land. All the way up to, ways down there. And it's a little hilly, this land, but plenty of beautiful trees. You can see this is, I guess, what you would call a new growth forest. There's, or young growth forest. There is, I'm told that this whole area was clear cut about 80 years ago. Most of the trees, they just cut everything down. And then, so you're not going to get a lot of huge trees in here, but I don't need huge trees. I need smaller trees. So when we've checked through, there's rocks everywhere around here. Beautiful landscape. Very serene setting. I really like this one. I've looked at 10 different properties. I'm back here to try to make a final decision. You can see the tree line there. Great selection of trees. There's beech, birch, maple, elm. There is some pine. I saw lots and lots of cherry, but it looks like mostly beech and elm, but that'll do. Beautiful, beautiful area. And what I love the most about this property is this. Mile and a half down that way, nothing. Mile up that way, nothing. So nearest neighbor, more than a mile, a little over a mile up this, I won't call it a road, it's a trail. And I have to hike in the last mile because the road is blocked a mile and a half up this road here. I got my backpack with me today. I hiked 4 miles. I walked here from the other cabin. It's about 4 miles through the road. Now there is state game lands behind this land here. So it's butted up against hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of acres. I think a lot of square miles of just wooded game lands, state public land. So, you know, that is very, very attractive because although, you know, this land itself that I'm purchasing might not be a huge amount of land, but there is state game lands right behind this, which means lots of resources. You're allowed to go onto the state game lands and take trees and things as long as they're standing dead or fallen. I'm sure they wouldn't mind if I was huffing stones or rocks. You know, there's a creek not far from here, I think, which would be good for water source and also for creek gravel. You can use creek gravel for many things that you build. Driveway, I don't know, patios, you know, to stretch out the cement. But what a beautiful place. I really, really, and do you hear that? You can almost make out, I hear like a quad or a dirt bike off in the distance, which is probably somebody going down one of these nearby trails. I was told nobody comes down these trails. You can see there is quite a lot of debris in the roads, so not passable by a regular vehicle. I'm sure if I had a 4-wheel drive Jeep or truck, you could just roll right over these little trees in the middle of the road, or I could clear them, but I found a better way to access this property from the other side. This is the front of the property, and this road here is, well, they call it a road, but this is where, you know, the address is. But there's another road a few hundred, maybe 400 feet back at the back of the property, and that road is, it's still a dirt road, but it's a very well-maintained dirt road that they oil and pack and grade and everything. I think the neighbors back there get together and hire somebody to maintain that road that's behind this property. So I could contact the neighbors, and there is an easement. Now, what's an easement? An easement is a little strip of land, I think it's 10 or 15 feet wide, between the actual plots of land people purchase. And that is so that people in these situations, like, look at this. This road is completely filled with debris, impassable with a regular vehicle. But the road back there is beautiful. It is pristine. I checked back there, and there's people with, you know, just regular 2-wheel drive cars. I even saw somebody with rear-wheel drive going right down that road. It's a very well-maintained road behind this property, so I could use that. So file this under study the maps better, stupid, because the first time I came to this property, I hiked more than a mile, maybe a mile and a half, from the end of the front road to the land. Here's the back of the land here. And that other road I showed you, so-called road, is more of a hiking trail, is all covered in trees and debris and fallen trees in the middle of the road. Here is the back road. So it looks like we're going to be accessing this property through the back road. There is an easement right about here, which means there's a 10-foot wide swap, little section of land between what would become my property and whoever owns the property, the plot next to it. So there's a 10-foot section of public land for accessing property. Through there, I could just cut down some of these trees and make a little driveway, and then I'd have a short walk right to my land, like a couple 100 feet or whatever, where I can cut the easement right up to the land, but we'll see. But look at this beautiful, well-maintained road. It's not exactly paved, but it's compressed. Somebody runs a grader over this, oils it, and they run the cutter down the side of the road to keep the road wide. Easily be able to get a vehicle through here. And interestingly, I just didn't know about this road behind the property. So twice today I walked 4 miles from the cabin to here, my cabin, to this property, because I didn't know that I could have just driven from the main highway right to this road and then parked right over here and walked like 100 feet to the actual land. I wish I had known that, but now I do know that. So what a beautiful area. And again, even here, there's no neighbor up this road down this road is about a mile before you'll see a neighbor. Up this road is about, again, I think it's maybe a mile and a half, or on this back end, even 2 miles before you see a neighbor's home or any neighbors. Other than that, it's just woods. Beautiful forest. I love it. So I think this is the one, friends. I think I'm gonna pull the trigger on this. Life is short. Dream those dreams, It was my dream to build a cabin, and I did. But there was just some things about where that cabin that I built is. There's neighbors around, and it's not quite as isolated and remote as I would have preferred. And I learned so much and enjoyed building that first cabin so much that I want to do it again. And I want to take everything that I have learned building that first cabin and apply it to building a bigger, better cabin here in the middle of nowhere. And I'm prepared for this challenge. And again, this property is only 4-mile walk from the other property. So if I'm feeling like getting some exercise, I could just hike into this other cabin. This will become the backwoods off-grid cabin. And you can see there's no power lines here in the front or back. There's no way to get power back here. So I will use solar, use a generator, whatever we have to do. My biggest issue is going to be finding a water source. But now that I know I can drive right into the property, that's not that big of a problem. I have 12-gallon barrels, and I have access to a community well at my other cabin. So I could just load up my 12-gallon barrels and my 5-gallon collapsible containers into the back of the vehicle on the way here and have plenty of good, clean drinking water. The well water at my other cabin's community is just the best tasting water I've ever drank in my life. Maybe except for a mountain spring when I was on the Appalachian Trail. But it's really good water, safe, test it all the time. So I guess water won't be that big a concern. I thought it would be, because I thought I was going to have to 4-mile hike in everything, including the water. And there's an old Amish saying, you don't know the value of water until you have to carry it. Once you have to carry every drop of water you use, you see the value of water. I didn't want to have to carry, gallons of water. Remember, it's 8 pounds per gallon. That's how much water weighs. But this is great news, friends. There's a road. And like I said, it's about 100 feet in from here is the back of the property, and there's an easement, so it's legal for me to walk through there, even cut some of these trees and make a little way for my car. If I can get my friend Matt with his Bobcat back here, Matt will cut a road from here right to the property with his Bobcat, which would be awesome. And I've already invited Matt, my very good friend at the cabin. He's my closest neighbor and just an amazing, great guy. I've already invited him. I told him if he wants to build the cabin here, he can. If he wants to come here camping with his family and maybe with us as well, like during the summer, we'll do family camping trips here together with his children and wife and my wife and children. It's going to be a great place here. Just absolutely beautiful. Nothing but forest for miles, friends. My kind of place. So I've made my decision. I'm going to call the realtor today, get him the down payment, and we're going to move forward with another dream. Life is short, friends. You don't know how long you have. So I say, if you have a dream in your heart, do it. Do it today. You'll be glad that you did. So friends, I've got a 4-mile hike back to the cabin, and I feel like a dummy because this road right, I could drive to my cabin from this road right here in about 5-6 minutes, but it's going to be a 90-minute walk or so, but that's okay. It's a beautiful fall day. You see the leaves are starting to turn, and it's unseasonably warm, but a beautiful day for a hike. I hiked here through the state game lands. That was fun. I'll show you a satellite map in this video. It's a couple miles through thick, dense woods, and I kept losing trails, finding trails, and then through the GPS you could know, gee, I'm going the wrong way down this trail. So I would go for 10 minutes walking and then go, oh, I went the wrong way on this trail. It was really tough to find my way through that. This is all state game lands back here. So it was really tough. It was a couple miles through these thick, dense woods, half of which I'd say there was no trail. You're just walking through thick, dense woods with no trail, and there's rocks and trees everywhere. Pretty difficult hike. When there's a hiking trail, it's not difficult, but when you got to go through, look at all these rocks and trees, you got to, obstacles to go around. There's down trees everywhere you got to climb over. It was a tough hike in here, and I thought it would be so much quicker because through the woods is only supposed to be 2 or 2.5 miles, but really, because I walked in circles so much trying to find my way through the woods, it still took me 90 minutes to get here from the cabin. So it takes 90 minutes to walk on the roads and the highway. I've got a high visibility coat on, like one of those that the jacket, one of those like the guys who work on the side of the road. I'm wearing that for 2 reasons. The first reason is I don't want to get hit by a car if I'm on a road. People fly down some of these small roads. I want to make sure that I have high visibility. And the other thing is it's hunting season right now. So it would be a really bad idea for me to trudge 2 miles through really thick, dense woods. There's hunters. I didn't see any today, but there's hunters all in different areas of these woods getting their meat for the year and filling their freezers, and I don't blame them. But you got to make sure that you are wearing orange, or I didn't have any of that hunter's vests or orange. I got to get some. But my neighbor Matt lent me this. It's sort of, neon raincoat, and he told me that the game wardens, if they see you hiking out there without that on, they'll fine you, because you could easily be mistaken for an animal and be shot. Most hunters are very responsible and they don't take the shot unless they're sure what they're shooting at, but you never know. best to be safe rather than sorry. So friends, I'm gonna walk back to the cabin, and it's getting to be dinner time. I'm gonna get some dinner, and we'll see if we can't secure this property and purchase it. I'm gonna move forward with this dream, and I can't tell you how happy I am I get to build another cabin. All right, friends, let me walk back now. Long hike ahead.